I'm Melissa Rohlin with the Los Angeles Times, here with Bill Plaschke and TJ Simers for another episode of LA Loud. Jerry West wrote an autobiography that will be released this week, in which he talks about how he felt disrespected by Coach Phil Jackson, and he talked about his complex relationship with Jerry Buss. What do you make about these revelations?
Well, I think we both agree, and don't let me speak for you, but the West is a little strange, okay, as a person.
I think he's a lot strange.
Okay,
yeah.
well, actually, and I agree with you,
Yeah.
because, I mean, this is a guy at the end of his Laker career, and I don't know if it was in the beginning, he couldn't watch the games. He'd get in his car and drive away while the game was being played. I'm sorry. If you're the general manager of a franchise and your team's playing a playoff game and you're in the highway and you don't want to know what the score is, you're going a little squirrely on us. As far as what I've heard about what he feels about Phil Jackson, hey, we all have a problem when someone of stature comes into a building and we think we've had stature for a while, and now you've got Phil Jackson who kind of overshadows everyone. West is the guy, and now you have to deal with a head coach who has a mind of his own, and Phil is strange and weird in his own right. So, I think you just give this that Jerry accomplished a lot in his life, but he also did it with some devils in him that, maybe we don't completely have a handle on.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating, one of the most fascinating characters ever in LA sports. The fact that he's so brilliant. Kobe and Shaq, and built the championships and built it again and again and won. He's a logo, for Pete's sake. But he's a little bit of a crooked logo. And again, he couldn't stay. That was the thing. I'm glad he finally came out and said it, that when Phil Jackson came, he knew he wasn't going to get along with Phil. And part of the reason was that Phil was dating the owner's daughter. And Jerry said to himself, and said to me, he said to others, you know what, this is trouble. I'm not going to be able to have any influence here. That's why he left. And again,
well, there's also an implication in his comments that Jerry Buss sided with Phil, which I also think is a problem. It speaks to Jerry West then, that insecurity, which he's alluded to. That's right. That a guy of West stature would be so insecure as to think that Jerry Buss, the owner, all of a sudden is listening to what Phil has to say, and maybe he won't listen as much to me. That speaks to Jerry West's weakness rather than to any weakness that Buss or Phil has. And yet I think the public will be sympathetic to West and will say, make Phil Jackson the bad guy in this, and possibly Buss.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't know about Buss. Buss is pretty beloved. Phil Jackson, though, not beloved in his town. The way his legacy will be, not Jerry West. Jerry West has a statue. Phil Jackson's not going to get the statue. Jerry West again, but again, it's interesting to see behind the curtain. And I always found it fascinating. You're talking about him driving in the car. It was Game 7 of the 2000 Western Conference Finals, the seminal game for the Lakers. They trailed by double digits at the start of the fourth quarter, beat the Trailblazers, would only win 3 straight championships. He was on the 101 going to Ventura, and then he drove down to Carlsbad and went in and saw a movie, the Spartacus or something, some kind of movie. It wasn't Spartacus. It was one of those. It was Gladiator.
Oh,
it was Gladiator. He watched Gladiator while they were doing the game. So that's just fascinating how a guy's so brilliant.
That's not fascinating.
Tortured.
Tortured is a great word.
But it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But did he get a job done? Yes. And did he school Mitch? I think Mitch Kupchak's been a great general manager. Did he help Mitch Kupchak? Yes. So he's, again, he may be the most. You talk about Lakers, Magic Johnson, Jerry West. I mean, they're right up there.
Doesn't that make him bigger than life, though? Even that he was a little bit human. That we don't know Phil Jackson. We never got to know him. Never. I mean, he's.
L.A. didn't know him.
No, they didn't. And Buss is removed. We know him only because he's with escorts and he's, kind of a guy. We don't even know him as the USC professor. It's a piece of history going way back. Wes kind of wears everything. I mean, right out on the sleeve there. I mean, he's always been someone who will stand up to you and tell you, I don't feel good about this, or I didn't do a good job. I think people
love that. Oh,
yeah.
And that's, even though he's in Golden State right now, he'll always be a Laker. At the end of the day, I wish he would end his career somehow. End his career as an advisor for the Lakers, and somehow maybe with Phil gone, maybe that can happen.
No, I don't think that's the important issue. The important issue is to be happy with himself as a human being. I mean, who cares if he works as an advisor for the Lakers?
Oh, he'd be nice. He'd be nice.
Nice in what way? I mean, what are we? A nice bow to the end.
Absolutely.
But that's not what he's about now. He's telling us in his book, there's more to him than that, than
like
what he was as a basketball guy.
He would like that, though. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Speaking of statues and Lakers legends, Jerry West isn't the only former Laker who's felt a bit alienated by the organization. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did as well. What do you think of his situation?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar feels alienated by everybody, and it's basically his own responsibility.
He always has. Kareem's always has. He's always been. Where was he when people wanted him to reach out? When we reached out to him, he wasn't there. And now that he's reaching out to the rest of the world's not there. That's just the way it works. That's the way it works in life, Kareem. And he knows. And it's sad enough. His complaints last year just fell completely on deaf ears from everyone.
And in many ways, there's a drama attached to Kareem, which he has always been attached to Kareem. It's like we're supposed to understand the woe is me, all the problems that he has. And everybody has problems in their life and everything that's going on. And Kareem never warmed up to human beings. I saw at an NBA All-Star game, Pat Riley came up with some friends. He wanted to introduce him to Kareem. And Kareem couldn't spend 1 second with him. And I remember Riley rolling his eyes and waving to his friends. And, you know, basically that's the guy you got to deal with. And then Kareem couldn't understand why people wouldn't hire him in the business, why he couldn't get jobs. You know,
this is a man who has scored more points than anyone in NBA history, and he stands up at Staples Center for cheers next to James Worthy. James Worthy gets more cheers. Not just Magic Johnson and Jerry West. James Worthy, Rick Fox gets more cheers.
Yeah, he still gets a lot of appreciation, but I think it's a classic argument. Is Kareem a great person because he scored a lot of points? Or is he just a great basketball player?
No, but it's sad that they're talking about legacy, it's sad that his legacy can't be more intact and more enriched because of who he was off the court.
Bill and TJ, who should get the next statue?
The next statue.
That's interesting. The next statue.
Well, it'll be somebody who pays money to AEG. Or
yeah, Oscar De La Hoya's got a statue for Pete's sake.
So far, the statues. Listen,
well, actually, you know what?
The statue is the most bogus thing that's going on in LA right now. You have to be in business with the Anschutz people. You have to. I mean, most of those people didn't even play in that building. It's like they're presumptuous to say this is the Mecca. This is the center where we're going to Magic, Gretzky. They never even played in Staples Center. Oscar De La Hoya, I think, fought there twice, maybe.
He lost. He lost there. He lost there.
I mean, the only guy, Chick Hearn. Chick Hearn is the best statue because he actually worked in the building.
Well, the next statue is going to be Kareem. It is going to be Kareem.
Yeah, you're right. It will be Kareem,
the next
but it'll be because everybody's been shamed into it. That's
well,
why
no, he was next anyway, but they were just trying to hold him off.
Well, he bellyached because he didn't have. Who bellyaches that you don't have a statue of yourself? For heaven's sake, that shows you another side of Kareem that just is not appealing.
I don't know about you guys, but I think Luke Walton should get the next statue.
Thanks for that contribution.